Hey, Drew.
What's up?
You know all those classic games that Nintendo had, like Donkey Kong Country and Pokemon Red and Super Mario Sunshine? You know all those classic ass fucking games that they made.
Which ones? You mean the ones that don't exist?
Oh, you're right. They don't exist because Nintendo believes that anything past the NES before the 3DS and the Switch just never happened.
They never happened.
No, not at all.
Not once, not ever. They never happened. It just went from what I recall, NES to Switch. There was no NES, then SNES. Beyond, there was just the NES, and then the Switch. I could have sworn. I could have sworn that I've been playing some GBA games recently, but I must have just been imagining them. Yeah, I thought I was playing a classic called The Wind Waker, actually very recently myself. I don't know what happened.
The fuck is The Wind Waker?
I don't know. I thought that's what it was called.
Well, we all know that that sounds like it would be like a Zelda title, but I've never heard of it. We all know that it was Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and then Breath of the Wild.
I think it was like The Legend of Yakuza. The Legend of the Yakuza 0. I think that's what it was. And then the subtitle was The Wind Waker. Yeah, I think that's what it was called.
Yes. All those classic Yakuza games, Yakuza 3 Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that part where Kiryu just stabs a motherfucking bird with a sword right in its face. Just this Chinese sword, can you even stab with a Chinese sword?
We can't. I don't fucking know.
I think they're like.
We can't forget the time. We can't forget the part where Kiryu got trapped in time and aged up 7 years.
Oh god, that was great. I think they called that.
I could have sworn that was the plot of a Nintendo game,
I think that one was called Yakuza 6. The Ocarina of Life.
Yeah. I could have sworn, though, that was the plot of a Nintendo game, but I mean, after all, nothing past the NES exists.
That Yakuza 6, the Ocarina of Life, that's considered one of the greatest games of all time. It was such a revolutionary title for the series and video games as a whole back in that day.
Yeah, I know, man. All right, let's drop the fucking act because we're just gonna get fucking sidetracked on the act. This is a podcast. This is a discussion on Nintendo, on how Nintendo has announced their new Nintendo Switch online service and why it sucks ass.
Major ass.
You and I, we're both Nintendo fans.
Yeah, we were not impressed though with that part.
Oh no.
But we both love Nintendo to our dearest, deepest souls, all the way.
Yeah, and this is coming from a kid who grew up with Sony. I was a Sony kid.
Yeah.
But I love Nintendo to death. But I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Man, I don't.
And let's get this out of the way now. I'm not upset, and it is raining outside. That is fantastic. I'm not upset at the fact that it's a paid service, especially because it's a $20 a year service. Like compared to PS4 or Xbox One, they're like what, $60 a year?
Yeah, I think Sony's now aimed it up to $60 a year as of maybe a year or two ago. It used to be $50, I think, at one point.
Well, $20 a year isn't bad.
No,
$20 a year is great. And people complaining about the fact that it's a paid service, I don't understand that. If you can afford $60 games a month, every month, you can afford to set aside $20 a year.
Yeah.
This isn't $20 a month.
No,
this is $20 for a whole fucking year.
No, I would definitely bitch if it was $20 a month.
Yeah, Oh, if it was $20 a month, that'd be ridiculous. But it's not.
I'd get rid of my Switch immediately.
This is one of the few. This is one of the few things with this service that Nintendo's doing right. Is their fucking pricing.
Yeah.
It's just a goddamn shame that the actual service and features thrown along with it aren't worth $20 a year.
The biggest concern, Mason, we're going to go ahead and start off with the one that aggravated you and probably me the most, but there was another one I was aggravated about. We'll get into that later. The NES ones for you was the big deal breaker here.
Yeah. I'm not the guy who would take much advantage of a cloud save or voice chat or hell, even a messaging system on the Switch. I would appreciate having those things, but those things aren't deal breakers for me. But that little skit that we had at the beginning of the fucking podcast, that's how we personally feel right now. That's how I personally feel. I feel betrayed right now that Nintendo has decided to just completely abandon the virtual console.
Oh my God, yes.
And this could very well bite me in the ass as I say this, because we still don't know what they're going to be doing in the future.
No.
For all I know, the date that this is being recorded is September 17th, 2018,
Yeah.
the day before the Switch online service goes up.
They can see that here on my screen.
For all I know, tomorrow they can announce that they're going to be doing other consoles and they're going to release them as something like that. But as we know it right now, it seems that Nintendo is only giving a shit about the Nintendo Entertainment System. And granted, the NES had some good games. The NES didn't have a lot of good games. And I knew immediately that this was going to backfire horribly when I saw that the first game that they were showing off in that trailer where they were showing Bowser and Bowser Jr. playing together was fucking Ghosts and Goblins. That game is horrible. That is probably the hardest game on the NES, not counting Famicom because that's Takeshi's Challenge, but still. That's probably the hardest game on the NES, and it's not a very well designed game. And again, they're promoting the NES as if the NES, like we said in the skit, is like the NES and then the 3DS and then the Switch. Boom. Because we can't forget that the 3DS exists because Luigi's Mansion.
Well,
but
that and
no.
It's the only other thing they've supported, I feel like, for a really long time, at least into recent memory.
I'd be fine if they would have foregone the virtual console branding, but still kept the way it goes.
Yeah.
Like, the Switch has gotten super popular, all right? There are a lot of games that they released on the Wii U Virtual Console that they didn't release on the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
For the biggest thing that people are going to obviously bring up is Earthbound. Earthbound, that was the first time since '95 that Earthbound had been re-released. And considering that the Wii U was the Wii U, how many people do you think have gotten to experience Earthbound without the use of an emulator? Not many.
Not very many.
So the fact that it seems like Nintendo is just going to ignore all these fantastic games that they have in order to just throw Mario at you.
Now, Now, granted,
because there's like 3 Mario games for the four Mario games for the NES, and they're just gonna throw those at you, and maybe a couple others.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, because Mario is the Nintendo mascot, but there's obviously a little more there than just Mario, but there's also like a bunch of the stupid big hits too, like the Ice Climbers. Like there's gonna be more than just Mario.
Right.
Mario is the top dog here, though. There's a reason for that, though.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously it's fucking Mario. Like, but just some of the games that they've shown off that they're gonna throw together for you, throw at you. So far, at least. I mean, Ice Climber, Balloon Fight, really? You can't think of like better classic games to start your service with.
I do kind of want to throw this out there, though. What they could have done instead of do something like this, which would have been a little more of an understandable thing to do, instead of just giving us NES titles, they could give us NES titles. They could give us like 5 of those, 5 SNES titles, and maybe 5 GBA titles or N64 titles, something small to start us off for each.
Or hell, maybe even just regular old Game Boy.
And then maybe once per month they give us one new one.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like I'm saying that. Yeah, I like your idea, but
I'm just saying.
So I'm gonna take that for a second.
That idea sounds more appealing, though, than the other one.
I'm gonna take that idea of yours there, and just like actually name some games that they could play, that they realistically could put in. Like, for example, for the 5 NES games, they could have had Mario, fucking obviously. They could have put the NES version of Pac-Man in there.
Yeah.
They could have Zelda 1. They could have Kirby's Adventure, and they could fucking have Dr. Mario. I don't fucking know. Super Nintendo, they could do... They don't have to be the big releases of games to start it off with.
No.
But again, you compare some of the games that they're throwing at us that they showed in that little menu, where they can have some obscure games in there, but again,
throw some obscure games in there
to start off with.
Put in their better titles too, like. Put in a couple good ones, put in a couple obscure ones, then throw like a little meteor in there in between those 4. It's kind of even out.
But if they're trying to start off with a service, it's like something that's so much radically different than the Virtual Console. When you have like Super Mario Brothers, what's going to convince somebody to? And I realize that these are all like included with a subscription, but what's going to convince somebody to play Balloon Fight over Mario?
Not a whole lot, unless you played Smash for Wii U. Then you're probably not going to know a whole lot about Balloon Fight unless you played it previously on the NES, or you've seen it in represented in another title like Smash.
Yeah. Besides Smash, I know nothing about Balloon Fight.
Exactly.
Like,
so why would you choose a title you've never really played before over one you have played before and you're going to be all right in?
Exactly. But the thing that I'm even more upset about is I'm not upset. I'm very upset about the NES only so far.
I'm not gonna lie here, but we are upset.
Yeah. I think the thing that pisses me off, like just a little bit more, is the fact that they have the gall to say that you are required to check in once a week to an internet connection
Yes.
for you to be able to access these these NES ROMs.
Basically. So, and here's the thing where it might get a little weird. Where I work, there's a Burger King right next door that I always like to go into my lunch, just kind of either sit there, get something to eat, whatever. But they have Wi-Fi there.
You eat at Burger King? Gross.
Shut up! I like Burger King. Anyways, and I know the owners. But anyways, their Wi-Fi there though is not great. I think their Wi-Fi at max speed, I don't even think it goes up to 5 megabytes a second. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. The last time I was on my Switch and I was in there, I don't even think I could get in the eShop because it was just so fucking slow. So what if the internet connection is just so fucking slow that you can't check your games in the 7-day period? What if you're without internet at your house because you have a blackout or something?
For a fucking week.
For a whole week.
What if, for example, what just happened in the Carolinas, Drew? A fucking hurricane.
Exactly.
What just happened to fucking Japan like 2 weeks ago?
Tsunami.
That tsunami and earthquake. Nintendo is really not thinking about this.
Now, if they did it to where it was once a month, I could maybe give that a little more leeway, but they're being too strict with this. Whoever thought of this idea, I'm not very pleased, and I don't think a lot of other people are pleased either.
I mean, yeah, I could give a little bit of leeway for once a month, but then at the same time, you have to recognize that if you've paid for a 1-year subscription, why should you have to check in?
That's also a valid reason too. You've already paid.
Like,
you've already paid your money for.
You've paid your $20. You've paid your $20. Why should you be forced to have these restrictions?
Now, granted,
to be able to play mediocre at best NES games.
Now, granted, that's not if the PlayStation 4. God help us if this were to happen. But if the PlayStation 4 were to become something like the Switch, I still wouldn't see Sony doing that. I would see Sony doing that as, hey, you paid your $60 for the year. You're going to keep your game until your subscription expires. Then when your subscription expires, renew the damn thing, and then you can go back to playing it.
That's what they do with PlayStation Gold, isn't it?
PlayStation Gold?
Isn't that what it's called?
It's called PlayStation
It's
Plus.
PlayStation Plus. Alright, look, it's almost...
Gold or whatever membership. Gold membership.
Look, it's almost like I don't have a PS4, Drew.
You have a PS3, shut your mouth.
Yeah, I have a PS3 because I have no need for a PS4.
They advertise PlayStation Plus a fucking shit ton on the PS3 for no reason.
No. But isn't that what they do with PlayStation? The free games you get with PlayStation Plus, it's that you have to have your subscription to PlayStation Plus.
As long as you have your subscription, then you can get your games back, or you can still play them. Yeah. But if your subscription
they don't put in that,
then you can't have them until you start paying the money again.
Yeah. But they don't put in that arbitrary thing where you've paid for your subscription, but we still require for you to check in once a week so that way we know that you have it.
Well, so here's the thing, Mason. Unless if you're constantly traveling everywhere with your console, which I don't know why you would ever do that. You shouldn't have.
Hey, that's the novelty for some people.
No,
yeah, really.
Fair,
should.
That is some things that people do. People travel and they get bored and they're going to play on their PS4 to their hotel room, go into their Wi-Fi or don't have Wi-Fi and just play. Well, that's fine. But no, if you are without internet with your PS4 for a whole week, you keep your games until your subscription expires. Yeah. Your PS4 has an internal memory lock to where it has, hey, here's when you last paid for your PlayStation Plus subscription. When the calendar goes past that date, you have to fork over $60 more and sign back into the internet.
Right.
Now, if it comes to the game being on the console on the PS4 and then having, I don't think it would just delete it off your PS4 as you have to reinstall it or anything. I think it's just a lock put on there. But this isn't about Sony. This is about Nintendo.
Which is. But you see, the way that you did it is the way Nintendo should be doing it. the way that you just listed it. It's that, all right, you've paid your $20 for a whole year. Here is your free copy of Super Mario Brothers, and hey, your subscription's coming up. Your subscription due date's coming up. You're gonna need to pay a subscription. You're gonna need to pay another $20 on September 18th, 2019. And if you don't do that, then I'm sorry, you can't continue to play Mario anymore until you do that.
Yeah. But that's still a better idea, though, than having to check back in every 7 days.
Yeah.
The whole point of the Switch, though, is to bring it anywhere you want and play it wherever you want.
That doesn't appeal to me personally, but that's the novelty of the Switch.
But you can't play this game anywhere at any time if you've hit a 7-day limit on the game. You can't play it anywhere.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And Nintendo, until that trailer, Nintendo had really been killing it with their announcements. Do we need to talk about Smash?
They've even racked in third-party support for this fucking thing, and they've actually been able to keep it, unlike the goddamn Wii U.
Yeah, because it's worth it. It's worth it for companies to stay with such a successful at this time system.
Well, yeah, they've already sold double than what they have in the Wii U. They've already sold way more than double.
Yeah. And I just feel like Nintendo's getting cocky is the thing. Nintendo's like, yeah, man, we're back to the 90s, man. We're the king of the world, man. Now we get to do what the fuck we want to do.
So that means NES, motherfucker.
Yeah. Super Nintendo. What the fuck do you mean Super Nintendo?
Before we go into this any further, though, there's one last thing I have to mention about this stupid NES subscription. We know that they're putting out Super Mario Bros. 1 for this thing. Why the fuck are they putting out Super Mario Bros. 1 when they have Super Mario Bros. 1 Versus on the goddamn eShop?
You're right. You're right. I forgot that they released that. That's the arcade version, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So why the fuck are we having to have one of our NES games, one of the 20 starting NES games, be that game, which most of us probably already potentially own?
But it's Super Mario Brothers 1, Drew.
Shut the fuck
It's the second best-selling game of all time behind Wii Sports. Nintendo needs to overtake Wii Sports.
Oh my god. Like, that, I thought about that actually right before we started, and I've been wanting to say it so badly for the past hour.
Why didn't you fucking remind me before we started?
Because I don't know, I didn't want to say anything until now.
I completely forgot I forgot Versus Super Mario Brothers existed.
I did too, until I opened up my Switch like 3 days ago.
Because I think that's a mishmash of some levels from Mario 1 and Lost Levels.
I don't.
And
I'm not too sure about that, honestly.
I've never played Versus Mario Brothers, so I'm not exactly sure. But
I know the levels are redesigned in some ways.
Speaking of Mario, how much do you want to bet that one of the fucking NES games that they're going to have is the original Mario Brothers?
It wouldn't surprise me. That's probably why they're putting it out, is because it's technically different than the one they have out already, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that, hey, this is still the original Super Mario Bros., just the levels are a little reworked.
No. Not the original Super Mario Brothers. The original Mario Brothers.
You're talking about Mario Brothers with the fucking...
Yeah, that Mario Brothers.
With the goddamn pipes and the fireballs that just randomly appear with the Koopas. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. How much you want to bet that's going to be one of the NES games?
I'm pretty sure it is. I wouldn't be surprised.
So, we've talked about NES.
Which that was your biggest.
That was my personal biggest gripe.
So I guess we should probably go ahead and talk about mine, because it's been one that I've been pouring a lot of thought into, and you probably shouldn't have to pour a lot of thought into it, because I think when we watched it originally, I misheard or misconcepted what they were saying. But I'm just going to go ahead and get to it, because I'm going to sound probably a little stupid because I didn't hear right. So, for any of you out there that are probably yelling at me, forgive me in advance here. When they announced all 5 of the features for the thing, the last and final feature was the special features for the membership, such as the stupid NES controllers that are $60 that you can pay for.
Oh yeah.
Also, like Splatoon 2 exclusive, like add-on DLC or something stupid like that. I didn't remember. I don't recall hearing them say, "Go check the Nintendo website." I remember them saying, "Wait until another date to do this, to hear about this," or something like that. I remember that.
I'm with you. I'm with you, because I told you before we started, when we watched the video back, I was like, I thought they said that they'd announce it at a later date.
That's what I mean, we could be wrong. We probably both could have misheard, but that's probably my biggest gripe, other than the NES one, because the NES one that pisses me off. They could have done so much better than what they've given us. They could have done so much better.
They said all those classic games that Nintendo has just don't exist anymore.
Like I said, I really feel like my way is probably the best way to do it. Just throw in a couple games from a couple other consoles too. Just don't overdo it and put out so many so quick.
Or just bring back Virtual Console.
Or that. But then that would defeat the whole purpose of the online portion there, bro.
Yeah, I know, but
I will say this, though. The only thing that might be a little better about these games coming out, they are adding online functionality to some of them, and they never had them before. So I'll give Nintendo credit where credit's due, but man,
oh boy, I can do a Super Mario Brothers race against Luigi online.
Yeah,
wow.
You can also play Ice Climber online now too, you know.
I never even liked Ice Climber anyway.
I don't either. I bought it on my 3DS, and I don't know if it was the difficulty of it or what. I just couldn't get into it. I played it for like 3 hours in college one day. I'm just like, hey, it's $5. Why not? But they are putting a new feature in them, so I'll give them that little itty bit of speck of credit there.
Like yeah, I mean, but at this point, honestly, again, I think they did Virtual Console better, and I mean, if they don't bring more consoles into this, I think that a lot of people are just going to end up biting the bullet and saying, fuck this, I'm hacking my Switch, and I'm putting fucking emulators on here, and I'm getting my fucking ROMs.
Yeah.
Because I know there are a ton of fucking people out there who, you know, you've got your pirates, and fuck video game pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got your pirates, but I know there are a ton of fucking people who would be more than willing to hack their Switch just to get like Super Nintendo and GBA. That's what I did with my fucking Wii. All right, that's how I'm playing some of these classic games I've never heard, I've never played. That's why I'm playing Donkey Kong Country, also because K. Rool, but that's not about K. Rool. By the way, Donkey Kong Country isn't even that good of a game. Fight me. But anyways, I think another thing people are gonna hack their Switch for if Nintendo doesn't make this easier to do and easier to accomplish is save data backup.
Yep. That's
hint. Let's go to that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and segue into that one. We've already spent enough time on the NES bullshit.
Now, cloud data, cloud backup, again, it's not really something that I would probably be taking much advantage of.
Yeah.
But I can understand why some people would want to. They'd want to back up their save data in case, something happens in their RPG where they glitch the shit out of it, and then it's like, oh no, I can't back up. So it's like, let's back it up. But also, I'd like to say that I believe Nintendo should just have a way to back up their saves naturally.
Yeah.
And
now there are some games that aren't going to have this feature.
Obviously.
But those are mostly online-based games, such as Splatoon, FIFA, and Dark Souls Remastered. These games rely fairly heavily on online multiplayer, so that's why they're not implementing it, so that way it wouldn't be a way for people to cheat in their game. That is why Nintendo has decided to exclude some games from the feature. The only positive thing I do have to say about this feature, other than the majority of the negative ones, is the fact that every time you save, it goes to the cloud automatically, as long as you're connected, online. It automatically goes to the cloud. And I think if you're out of range from internet connectivity, the moment I think you hit one, and I think you turn on your Switch, I could be wrong about that. It could even probably do it while it's in sleep mode. Then it'll upload to the cloud automatically, and that's a very nice feature because I want to say it doesn't do that for the PS4, but I could be wrong because I haven't checked my cloud saves on there in forever. But the last time I checked, it did not. Back when I was using my cloud saves before I had to stop doing that for personal reasons. But that's probably one of the best features about the cloud saves, is that it automatically doesn't, you don't have to worry about doing that. So if something does happen, it's there, and you don't have to worry about having to turn the system back on or getting your data from the hard drive that's already in the Switch, etc.
You want to talk about how the fact that once your subscription ends, that's it, your save data, your cloud save data is just gone?
Yeah, it's just gone. So
if you don't immediately renew your subscription,
you're fucked.
Yeah, Nintendo just walks up and shoots it in the face.
Basically. So
Nintendo does to the cloud save data what Death did to Luigi in that trailer. I want somebody to edit that down. That's amazing. No, but that's ridiculous. They should give you at least another month.
Yeah, they should give you at least 2 weeks to a month to be able to get, more time. That way you have time and you're not scrambling to get your fucking wallet out the day 9/18/2018 gets here. You know what I mean?
Right. Because as ridiculous as it sounds, some people might not be able to afford an immediate day renew of the subscription.
It's called a fucking budget.
Yeah. Some people might be so bad at budgeting, or just might not be able to, or just like, that's the thing, is that some people might save up so much money to where they can get a Switch, but they're still poor. But they've saved up. They've got, they realize it's $20 a month, $20 a year. They can spare that. But then what happens is that next year, okay, they need the budget for things. And on 9/18/2019, they can't afford, they can't say, okay, yeah, I can put $20 here for the subscription. They might have to wait a week or so.
Yeah.
Maybe even a couple days or so. I don't think it's fair to just say, like, okay, you've got until, because it's not going to be like as soon as it hits 9/18, it's not going to be like, nope, you're done. But you've got until the very next day, 9/19/2019, to renew that service.
Yeah.
Otherwise, boom, it's over. That's so dumb.
Something that just kind of occurred to mind. If you had to renew on 9/18/2019, I wonder if they'd make you have to pay for the subscription on 9/17/2019.
It's a good question.
That way it's already paid for. But, then again, you'd still have to make the time to remember to budget for it. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to add a subscription tab into the Switch yet. That's probably one of the better things about the PS4 that I like, is that there's just a subscription tab right there that you can click in your settings area, and it's there, and it tells you when your shit's going to renew. And I like that. Can I, speaking of, like, because you talked about subscription tab, and I was about to say they might add that in an update or something, in a firmware update or something. Can I just go back to the NES real quick for 1 minute? Just 1 second. I'm sorry. All right. I did see when they were showing the trailer, they were showing like that little menu of games and stuff. You heard me point this out. Mm-hmm.
If they took Iwata's golf Easter egg out of the Switch when they did that one firmware update, just so they could do this and put it in the subscription game thing, if that's why they did that, I'm going to be very, very, very angry. For those who don't know, when the Switch first launched, no, it was big news for the Switch. But for those who don't know, when the Switch first launched, hackers found that on, I don't remember the specific date. It was either his birthday or the day that he passed away. On a specific date, if you did Iwata's trademark understand gesture with the Joy-Cons in your hands, if you did that, the menu, it would open up NES Golf, which was the first game that Iwata ever programmed. They took that out of a fairly recent, and by fairly recent I mean like a couple months ago, I believe. I don't have a Switch, so I'm just going by what I've heard. I believe it was a few months ago in a firmware update. They took that Easter egg feature out of the Switch. You can no longer do that. And if they did that, just to put that game and include it as part of a subscription, that is extremely disrespectful. In my personal opinion.
Yeah. I don't think.
All right. Enough about the NES for real. I swear.
Just so everybody knows, to clarify on that a little more, Mason loves Iwata, and he's got very good reason to. He's got good intent when he says the stuff he doesn't mean. You can buy it. Mason really loves Iwata.
You love Iwata too, but I look up to the man, because the man helped Game Freak create Pokemon Gold and Silver into what it is.
Yeah.
And so my memories of Pokemon Gold and Silver, which are my favorite Pokemon games, are because of Satoru Iwata. And the fact that he was the president when Nintendo was in a bad time, when I was starting to grow up, starting to figure things out of myself and starting to pay attention to gaming news and shit. And the fact that he was the face of Nintendo, he was Nintendo, was Satoru Iwata, and he would go out of his way to make sure that, to the best of his ability, gamers were happy, that his employees were happy, that he was president, but he didn't stop doing his Iwata asks. He didn't stop programming. He still continued to help the he would bring the Nintendo Directs, so he was right there in our face announcing video games for us.
Yeah.
And he was
a great man.
He was helping work on the Switch on his deathbed.
He's a very great guy.
And that's why I think it's so disrespectful if that ends up being the case. I don't believe that's the case.
And we'll probably never know about that.
But, yeah, we'll never know about that. So that's just something you'd have to assume. But
assuming's not always the best thing to do.
You are right, but like I said, I just think that it's still a little bit disrespectful regardless.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that their intentions are that. I just think the whole practice of removing it from the Switch, the Easter egg itself, and then putting NES Golf on the fucking as one of the one of the game options is a little bit disrespectful. Just my opinion, my personal opinion.
All right, so on to the next one. What we got, Mason?
I don't know. You're the one who has the document open.
I do have the document open. As a matter of fact, I haven't opened it once yet. I still have this image up.
Jesus. Is it Isabel?
No, actually, it's not even Nintendo related.
Oh, okay. Well, who is it?
Is he stupid? Throw him into the TV. Let's see. For Nintendo Switch Online shit, we have the $20 a year, dedicated servers, multiple Switch systems. That was another thing.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
We did not.
We've been talking about the negative shit, but there are some positives to the service.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be stupid to ignore any of the positives that the service has just to rag on Nintendo.
Because at this point, I feel like we are hating on them pretty hard.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, they don't have many positives, but they have some positives.
They do have some, yes. So the biggest positive, obviously, being the $20 a year over their competitors, Microsoft and Sony. But something you can do is for 8 different console holders, 7, yourself included, being the 8th, you can have a $35 yearly plan. Split that up into 7 other people. You pay about $5 per year, just as long as everybody splits into it. Everybody would pay $5 almost.
Or if somebody just wants to take the bullet and pay $35 a year.
Yeah, which, to be fair, that's not a lot. At least to me.
Yeah, that's still not a lot.
To me, it's not a lot. You know.
Yeah, I mean, $35 a year. It's a little bit more expensive than $20, but at the same time, you're adding basically 8 Switches under one online, 8 Nintendo accounts under one Switch service.
Yeah.
So, that's actually really, really good.
So it's not necessarily that's kind of actually a strong way to get past paying $20 if you don't want to pay the $20.
Yeah, just have your friend
do the family plan.
Pay Yeah, do the family plan.
Just either split the money or be generous and pay the full amount, and no one else has to pay anything. It's your call. It's your money.
And like I said, you don't have to do 8. You can do 2 or 3, which is probably what I would personally end up doing if I was generous enough. Is that let's just say in a perfect world, I had a Switch, you have a Switch, and my girlfriend had a Switch. If I felt generous, which I always do, humble brag. But for real, like I'd probably say, hey, do you guys have Nintendo Switch Online yet? No. Well, here, I'll just put you guys under the family plan. Here you go. That way, all 3 of us have online.
Yeah.
It's not like the family plan costs like $80 a year compared to $20.
Yeah, then we definitely,
Yeah, fuck no, I wouldn't do that shit.
Not ever pay that unless you got a big family and you're very well affordable with that.
I wouldn't do that shit without somebody having to pay me back. Like, motherfucker, I spent $80 a year for you. Fuck you.
Yes. The only other things we have on this master list here, it's not a very big master list. I just kind of jotted down some things as we were talking earlier.
I honestly thought the video was longer than it was.
Yeah, so far though, it's been fairly decent length. Not that length really matters a whole lot, but
No, I mean the trailer, because I said we're probably gonna, when we watch the trailer, it's probably gonna remind us of some things.
Yeah. Well, original plan was to watch the trailer, but we weren't sure if we were gonna be hit by, if I was gonna be hit by copyright strikes because of this.
And we're not PewDiePie. We can't handle that.
No, we definitely cannot. The only other thing we really have on here, that's not even really related to the whole online Nintendo Switch Online shit, but still kind of isn't to a degree, is the friend codes.
I don't know why they're still there.
I don't either. There's a very easy remedy for that. It's called Give People Nicknames.
That's so fucking outdated. It made sense for like the DS and the Wii.
Was that?
But not the 3DS and not the Wii U. And most importantly, not the Switch. Like, that is so stupid.
Was that even a thing on the Wii, the original Wii?
I don't fucking know. It's not like I can check the fucking Wii's internet's dead.
Yeah, true.
I knew it was a thing for DS, but I ended up getting internet when I had my old DS. I ended up getting internet too late to the party to really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I think I did like 1 Pokemon battle. And that was it. And then the service shut down.
Oh man, that sucks.
If
it makes you feel any better, I was fairly late to that too.
Yeah, we were late to the internet in general.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get onto the internet until 2011. And I didn't actually think to connect my DS to the internet until, like...
I had internet throughout my entire time of high school. The only problem was that the internet we had was bad. Like, it was HughesNet satellite internet, and it was the slowest, most god-awful garbage.
Fucking rip.
And then I'm like, hey, Mom, we should grow up. There's this thing called Frontier. We should get that instead. At least we could do more things in the house instead of nothing at all.
Right.
Oh my god. The internet's an amazing place, but also a very scary place.
The internet is simultaneously the best and worst thing to ever happen to me.
The only other thing we have on the master list is voice messaging and chat systems. Voice chat message system. There we go. That's better.
Yeah. Again, something that I personally wouldn't take much advantage of.
Yeah.
But I understand why people like to have voice chat and a messaging system. Voice chat especially, because I know for shooters like Call of Duty, or it's not on, or the one that's actually on Switch, Splatoon, you know, you kind of have to have strategy. Yeah, you got to communicate. This coming from the guy who's never played a shooter online in his life, but you have to be able to communicate with your teammates, and I think that it's a little cumbersome, and I think that it's ultimately just a waste to say the only way you can do voice chat is through a specific app, a dedicated app, when by that logic you could pretty much just like I only do voice chat with my buddy here when we play a game online, but we just end up calling each other on Messenger or something.
Yeah, we normally do a couple other websites. We normally use Messenger if we want to just play anything online. We're not going to, use a specific app, because why would we do that?
And even then, at this point in time, it's only one fucking game.
Yes. Well, I will say this though about that app. There are a couple of good things about the app. The app also can be one of those where it helps, like if you're playing Splatoon, it keeps like scores in your games, keeps a few other things about Splatoon in there. It also has other features that you can use that help you with the game as well. But other than that, though, I don't really see a whole point though to using that app just for a couple of those reasons. Voice chat, you can do that anywhere nowadays. Fuck, if I wanted to, I could just call Mason on the phone and be like, "Hey, you want to play some Persona 4 Arena?"
Who the fuck calls people on their phone anymore?
Yeah, we have Messenger for a reason, dog.
Yeah, it's better quality.
And that, and the only other negative I can think about with the app too, I'm not for sure how big the app is. I've never actually cared to look at it, and I'm not going to at this moment either because I just don't care. But
I'm not gonna download it because I don't have a Switch.
Well, if you're like me, and you don't like to spend a whole fuck ton of money on a cell phone, because to me that's a stupid idea, such as like Samsung Galaxies or Apple products.
That's a discussion for another day, but I agree with you.
But if you're like me and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on those, and you have a phone with a small amount of space. You have like AT&T or Verizon. For some reason, they just have 50 other apps that just take up all of your memory on your phone. You're not going to have space for the app. You're probably most likely not going to have space for it. So what's the point?
I mean, this modern day, a lot of people have a lot of different apps. There are still a couple folks like me who only get by having a few apps.
Yeah.
Because I don't need the rest.
I was about to say, even if I did have a big phone, I'd probably just use it for music. And even if I did have it for music, the only app I ever use really is between Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. Those are like the only three ones I really use.
Let's look at the apps that I use on a regular basis. I use Twitch, I use Reddit, I use Twitter, Fanfiction Reader, Facebook, YouTube, Messenger, Chrome, and my music player. That's it.
Exactly. So I'm not even, like I said, even if I had a big phone, I don't know what the fuck I'd even do with it. And my mom and dad have more expensive phones than I do, and I think they have like $900 Google phones or something crazy like that, and they're paying monthly for them. And their batteries.
And your mom and dad are old people.
They are old people. They barely know what apps are. But
that's mean, dude.
Their phone batteries are dying, and they haven't even had their phone for a year. Like, their phone batteries are dying in less than a day, and they're not even on their phones that much. I'm on my phone all the
shit.
I'm on my phone all the fucking time, and it doesn't even need to charge at all once every day. The only time, like, if I'm at work, I'll wait until I'm on lunch to use my phone because, I'm working. I have better things to do sometimes than be on my phone unless I'm bitching at Mason about something stupid happening.
Right.
That's the only time though I ever use my phone. So like, back to the whole app deal there. Not everybody can have the app, first of all, because they don't have enough space, because AT&T and Verizon both suck dick. Or they just don't want to because there are so many other media platforms that people can use. Discord, Messenger, anything, Skype, whatever. You don't have to use that one dedicated app for this.
But on the other hand, you can say that what if you do like a random match in Splatoon and you get matched up with people that you don't know?
Well, fuck them.
But then again, that's why they should have voice chat instead of this dedicated app.
I guarantee you most of the people that play Splatoon don't even use the damn app. Most likely, they probably don't use the app. Oh man, this has been a very eventful podcast, Mason. This has been very eventful. We finally got to rant about what we wanted to rant about.
I'm sorry, I just saw something fucked up on Facebook. I'm sorry, I paused for a second.
Why are you on Facebook when we're trying to do a fucking podcast, Mason?
Because I'm not looking at anything on my computer screen.
Well, yeah.
Except your fucking picture. Except a white screen with your picture of Corin in the middle.
Shut your mouth. I love Corin, you fucking fuck. I'm staring at Adachi's beautiful face.
Fuck you. Now, I will tell you, that's pretty good view, but not as good of a view as Makoto.
Just shut the fuck up, Mason. We're not getting into this on this. This is a Nintendo podcast, okay? You shut your mouth.
I mean Makoto Yuki from Persona 3. Yeah.
It's still a Nintendo.
Nah, yeah, you're right. This isn't Persona Cast Part 2. That's never fucking coming out.
No, unfortunately, it's not. Do we have any other things to bitch about?
I'm sorry, my computer died. About Nintendo, not particularly.
About the Switch service, not really Nintendo.
I think we've pretty much covered everything in that document.
All right, amazing. We covered actually a little more than we wanted to in the document, but that is fine because we need to fill for time. I guess
we should just do another. We should just do another podcast.
Yeah, we should just immediately after this do another one.
Yeah, no, seriously.
All right, I guess that's the end of this one.
This is
Bye. I don't really have.
We could do our Smash. We could do it.
I don't really have any outros for this, so I'm just gonna say bye.
Oh, you. Look, I have an outro. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night. If you enjoyed this podcast for whatever fucking reason, if you enjoyed our rambling, go ahead and subscribe to Drew's channel where the podcasts will be posted.
From now on.
If for some reason you want to subscribe, if for some reason you want to catch the other two podcasts that we did, which is Persona Cast Part 1 and the Pokemon podcast, you can check out my channel and then watch in amazement as it's fucking dead. And so if you want to catch more of these podcasts, go ahead and subscribe to the fuck's your name on YouTube again? I don't remember. God of Shoe?
Probably. Something like that.
Go ahead and subscribe to the channel that you're watching right now.
Yes, the channel that you're watching on right now.
Okay, thank you.
Or don't subscribe. I really don't give a fuck. I'm not looking to get paid into this, so. I'm just doing it because I want to do it.
Wouldn't you want to be paid though?
If I could get better stuff, yes. I'd like to turn my channel into a music channel, but that's not going to happen either.
Oh damn! Really? That's a discussion for another day, though.
That's probably a discussion that will never happen.
Is the recording over, or should I continue with an outro?
The recording's still going, but I'm just.
Is the recording over, or should I continue with the outro?
The recording is now stopped as of right now.
Bye, everybody.